Hello, hello! We are live with Dharma Talk Tuesday. I'm Julie Surratt, your host every week, 4 o'clock Pacific, right here for, like I said, Dharma Talk Tuesday. Today's topic are the eclipse manifesting lessons I learned from an 8-year-old. How often do you learn from a kid? Well, if you're a parent, probably quite often if you're open to it. But I had the chance to learn from an 8-year-old Boy Scout named John yesterday. Gosh, it seems like so long ago. This week's already flying by for the eclipse. So hearts and likes if you had a pretty cool eclipse experience, if you got to go watch and you had glasses and you were prepared and you carved out time in your day to make memory for yourself. Pretty cool. That's the last time we'll experience an eclipse like that for a very long time. So I was clear that I wanted to make it happen. Now, I went and started looking up eclipse glasses. I wanted to get some on Friday. And if you made the same mistake, then you would know that by Friday they were out. The whole world was sold out of eclipse glasses on Friday. And so I had to find another solution. And what I discovered, which if you were in the same boat, maybe you also discovered, that libraries across the country were stocking eclipse glasses for people like me who didn't plan and purchase them well ahead of time. And so I made plans with Matt to go to the library yesterday morning, the local library. We went to one that was a little bit inland to make sure that we could actually, because there was talk of the marine layer being on the coast, covering the sky so you couldn't actually see the eclipse. So, that was the first thing. We needed to make sure that we were actually going to be able to see the eclipse, which meant going inland. And so we went to a library that was a little bit inland. And, oh, hi, Shamika. Thank you for joining. Hello, hello. And we got there, and much to our disappointment, there was a line. Let me tell you, there was a line. We got there super early too. And it was like the line stretched all the way around, not just the block, but around the entire building. It wrapped around the whole building. And we looked at it and we were like, we are probably not going to be getting eclipse glasses. This is probably not going to happen. However, we were clear that we wanted to watch this extraordinary astrological event. So how many times in your business or in your career or in your life have you really had a big desire to experience something extraordinary? You had a plan, you had a goal, and then you get in front, you've put a plan into action and you get in front of it, but you've discovered you've hit a wall. The way that you thought things were going to go down aren't working, and you have to come up with another plan. And it's a kind of frustrating moment. It's kind of a disappointing moment. What do you do? Do you give up? Because believe it or not, there are some people who actually give up and they say, I'm going to, here's my favorite. They'll say, this is obviously not meant to be. And they'll take it as a sign, if an obstacle comes up in front of them, they'll take it as a sign that it's not meant to be. That's one of my biggest pet peeves. I got to be honest with you. When I hear people say, well, this is obviously not meant to be, just because a wall came up in front of them, what that says to me is actually you're not committed. Because I'm all about being in the flow. I'm all about being in the surrender and the receiving and the manifesting flow. But what I also know is that if you're not going into a goal with the expectation that obstacles are going to happen, then you're not being realistic. Because obstacles will happen in anything you do that's important. It happens in a relationship. It happens pretty much all across the board in life. And if you're willing to let it's just not meant to be excuse stop you, then quite honestly, this might trigger you, but you don't deserve to have that outcome. So that being said, I will tell you right now that I was not going to settle for this is not meant to be when it came to this eclipse. And so here's what happened. Matt and I worked as a team. And we said, here's what we're going to do. He said, I'm going to go park the car and you go make friends with the people who were standing around the library area with glasses, of which there were many people. And it was so funny because I took yesterday off for my birthday. And one of the things that I teach my clients is called enrollment. And I teach them a very specific enrollment model, which I call cultivate. And the reason why I teach my clients, who, by the way, are not just entrepreneurs, they're also academics, they're also doctors, they're also lawyers, they're also, they're across the board. They're moms, like they're all across the board. And I prioritize teaching them enrollment. And the reason is because of this. Whenever you want anything in life, it comes down to how effective you are at communicating what you want and making it inspiring for the other person you're communicating with, like making it about them and what they need and what they want. So they're inspired. This is the difference between selling and enrollment. They're inspired to want to give it to you. So in case you're wondering, because if this seems out of left field as far as like, wait, I thought you taught body wisdom. Well, I do. But the reason why body wisdom is so important is because the most powerful kind of enrollment doesn't come from up here. It comes from down deep in your body. It comes from feeling the heart of the other human, which comes from being able to feel your heart first and foremost. So just tie that together for you. And so I realize here I am on my birthday. It's my day off. And I'm like, how funny is this? I'm on my day off. I'm on my birthday. And here we are once again. I get to practice enrollment. And it was just so funny to me because it really underlined for me, because I teach this to my clients all the time. It's like enrollment is everything. And if you become masterful at enrolling, it's honestly like having a superpower. And you can create anything you want in your life. Hearts and likes if you'd like to be masterful with enrollment, right? Like that's hashtag life goals. So he goes and parks the car. I go make a beeline to the area where everyone's hanging out with their glasses. And as I'm doing this, I do step 2 of the 3 steps that I teach my clients on how to manifest success. Step 1 is like using your body wisdom, activating your body wisdom, accessing your body wisdom through yoga. Step 2 is called emotional cultivation. Emotional cultivation is where you're having a conversation with the universe. The way that you have a conversation with the universe is not through words or affirmations, although those are nice. What's nice about them is that they evoke emotions. Emotions are how you communicate with the universe. And so I went into step 2 of my manifesting process as I'm walking over to this area, and I send up a communication to the universe, and I cultivate the emotion of how excited I feel when Eclipse glasses pretty much land in my lap, and how easy the enrollment is, and how easy the communication is, and just how everything is so completely in flow. And so I walk over to the area. Matt had found an incredible parking spot because how some people say they have parking angels? He is a parking angel, and he always finds the best parking spots. And so he found an incredible parking spot. He comes and joins me after having sent that communication up to the universe. We're together in this area. I literally am looking around. I think we were there for 30 seconds when the cutest little Boy Scout named John came over to us. He looked up at us with his beautiful eyes, and he said, "Hey, do you want to look at the eclipse? I have some glasses here." I'm not even kidding you. I didn't have to ask anyone. I didn't have to enroll anybody. What it came down to was having done a powerful emotional cultivation practice that inspired the universe to help me to move things out of the way, to clear the blocks, and voila! Manifestation made easy through John, the 8-year-old Boy Scout. And so he came over, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, thank you." And I was talking, I got to see the eclipse, and I was talking to him and just, asking him wow, are you into astronomy? What is this like for you? What do you get a patch for this? Because, Boy Scouts and Girl Scouts get those cool patches. And so we were talking, and Matt got to see the eclipse, and it was so neat. So he had to go join his Boy Scout troop after a little bit, so he went off. But I watched as he made his way, and even while they were supposed to be over there meeting, I watched him, and I watched how he made it his personal mission, sort of like his Dharma, to connect with every human at the library who didn't have glasses to make sure that they got to have an eclipse experience. Like little John, the Boy Scout, made it his mission to go out of his way, to go up to people he didn't know, which may or may not have been comfortable for him. I don't know. He seemed like he was pretty good at it. He was definitely on a mission, though, to make sure that everyone at the library who didn't already have glasses got to have their Eclipse experience. He was on a mission. And I watched it, and I was like, wow, that's inspiring. And I so wish, I mean, I have some clients like Paola here on the live stream. Hello, Paola. Thank you for your comments. Glad you're loving the story. Who are unbelievably generous and connected, and they tell all their friends about our program, Maya Money Alignment Yoga Academy. It's like she can't stop herself. And then, of course, she gets to see business results that reflect that, because she's just that kind of like generous, inspiring, maniac on a mission kind of human being. Like I'm like that too, so I can relate to that. And that's how John, the 8-year-old Boy Scout, was. He was a maniac on a mission to be generous for other humans, because he had a heart for other humans and wanted to make a difference for them. Okay, so he goes off to the troop. They're doing their Boy Scout thing. And then, of course, time is passing. And as time is passing, the eclipse is evolving and shifting. It's getting like bigger and stronger and all of that. And so, like, we wanted to see it. And so here I am back into my enrollment of like, who can we talk to? And which, by the way, this was so much better than waiting in that line, because there were people who waited in the line. They ran out of glasses and they never got to see the eclipse because they were waiting. Like, how often in your life do you wait versus stepping out of the box, stepping out of the line to go take proactive action, even if it means getting really uncomfortable and like talking to people you don't know and having to deal with that fear of rejection, if that's what comes up for you. Like, how often do you just let yourself wait forever and you miss out? Like, you miss out on like a life opportunity, you know, like that sucks. And I my heart went out to those people who missed out because they were committed to like, just, I don't know what their commitment was, but they were committed to waiting in that line and not stepping outside to figure it out and figure out the plan, right? I see a lot of people who I talk to and they say something like, now is not the right time. I need to wait. I need to figure this out first. And they're like really convinced that they need to wait for the right time, or they need to wait. And that's like those people in the line who missed out on the eclipse. That's called lack of urgency. And when you have a lack of urgency in your life, when you're not even if you see, because I didn't know what the solution was going to be, but I was open to a solution other than waiting in the line. And here's Duke. Oh, he just came over by me. Oh, you can't get through because of the Dharma Talk Tuesday chair? This is so funny. You guys don't get to see this very often. But he's like my built-in guard dog, and that's him looking out for us. And this is how I know I'm safe forever. Because I have a terrifying, scary guard dog who does this and freaks people out who walk by. Right, Dukity? You're doing a good job being my guard dog? And you're going to go back. Oh, he ate his leash. So that's what that is. He actually tore it in half. So that's how he feels about discipline. And that's him on his bed that's too small for him. Anyway, back to the story. So, so little Johnny went off to join his Boy Scout troop, and we didn't want to miss out on the next phase of the eclipse. And so Matt and I went back into our enrollment mission of looking for people to talk to and share the experience with. And I saw a woman with 2 little girls, and all 3 of them had glasses, and they weren't even using them. So I was like, oh, I'll go ask them. And I went over to her, and I said, hi. Can I look through your glasses for a second? I would love to see the eclipse. And she didn't speak very good English. Sorry, I'm like a little bit sneezy right now. She didn't speak very good English, but what she did do was she understood me and she pointed to the line. This was before the line ran out. I'm so sneezy right now. Hold on. Real life live stream sneeze coming at ya. Maybe not. And so she pointed to the line, and in other words, no thank you, go get your own glasses, was the message that she was sending. And I just thought that was really interesting because, you know, I was looking at like little Johnny and how it was his mission to be in the movement of making a difference for other people and being generous and thoughtful. And then I thought about this lady, and her mentality was taking care of herself and taking care of these 2 young girls, whether they were her kids or grandkids, I wasn't sure. But I realized, well, first of all, what she was modeling for them was it's us against them. Second of all, what she was modeling for them was basically like lack of generosity, not looking out for other people, and also like I'm doing enough. Like, do you know that mentality, or maybe you've encountered that mentality of I've done enough? Like, I don't need to give more. I don't need to give to others. I don't need to maybe get a little uncomfortable to give to others, or focus out or make a difference for somebody else, because I've done enough and that's sufficient. And that's like her mentality. And I thought about like what the world would be like if it was made up of billions of little John the Boy Scouts, and what the world would be like if it was made up of a bunch of the ladies of I've done enough, I've taken care of my circle, like my mini circle of my little family and the people that matter to me, and I'm not going to concern myself with the people outside of my little circle. Like, think about that for a second. And you know what, Matt said something which I thought was really amazing, which was the little John the Boy Scout. Matt was like, he represents the next generation. And like, what do you want your kids to grow up like? Do you want your kids to be like Johnny, where you know that they're making, like, the world was better because they were there? Like, they're making a positive, proactive difference in the world. Like, they're changing the world because of the way that they're helpful towards other humans? Or do you want your kids to grow up and be like the other lady who was sort of like, it's us against them, I have enough, like we're taken care of, and we don't really need to look out for or take care of other people, right? And it's like, I'm developing a pretty strong point of view about this, because the truth is, if we live in a world that's composed of a bunch of little Johnny the Boy Scouts, like, that's called world peace. That's called no famine, no lack of water, no war. Like, that's what that looks like. When we live in a world where we're being selfish and it's all about us, and if we're taken care of, and we're unwilling to share like Eclipse glasses for like 1 second, much less when it comes down to it, like taking care of another human, like with water or food or making a difference for them. Like, really, that's a behavior that you want to choose? And I want to just like extend this out even more in the context of career success. Think about this, like if you're an entrepreneur who's looking for potential clients, or if you're on the career path and you're looking for a promotion or your next big hire, or you're an academic and you're looking to get your tenure, or if you're a lawyer and you're looking to make partners, like, which do you think is the person that wins? The person who's selfish and is like, me, do I have enough? Am I taken care of? Oh, I have this, like I don't need to look for other people? Or are you are you going to be the person who is like, what else can I do for somebody else? Who else can I make a big difference for, or a small difference for, as it were? And I just want to highlight that for you, because the truth is, especially, well, for all of the above, if you're wanting to like make more money, like have more success, well, let me just be clear, from a heart-centered place rather than from a like shitty, grinded out, selfish place, which I know that you want to make a difference from a heart-centered place, because that's why you're watching Dharma Talk Tuesday, then I'm telling you, you got to be more like Johnny. And this is why I tell my clients, like my clients who work with me, my Mayans, I put them into a challenge this past month. The ones who've been with me for a little bit longer, I've got 2 waves going through, and the ones that have been with me for a little bit longer just went through a challenge this past month, and I called it the Avenues of Abundance Challenge, where they needed to create 3 avenues of abundance minimum a day in order to, well, there wasn't really a prize, but it was just like to get results really is the prize, to get real results in their career and in their business and their lives. And what an avenue of abundance is giving the universe an opportunity to help you. So like, I would love to tell you that you can go to your yoga mat and do my 7-day chakra opening yoga challenge and make a ton of money from just doing that. But the truth is, it's not how it works. It's a 3-step process, not just a 1-step process. And the 3rd step is creating avenues of abundance. That's like that enrollment piece that I was just talking about. And the way that you do enrollment really well is by being like Johnny the Boy Scout. And by recognizing that there are people all around you in your world and in your atmosphere, in your microcosm around you, who are waiting for you to look at them and say, hey, do you need a pair of Eclipse glasses? Hey, can I make a difference for you? So for example, if you're in the coaching and consulting business like me, it's really important for you to be like connecting with people that you've spoken with already about your service. And it's like so often people have resistance about follow-up, or like, you know, when I was applying to grad school, I would email and follow up with the professors who I was reaching out to on a regular scheduled basis. Or when I was applying to jobs in corporate in New York City, I would follow up with those potential jobs often. And a lot of people have a block around that because they have this fear of like, oh, I don't want to be a bother, I don't want to be a burden. But think about it, like, I actually felt like supported when Johnny went out of his way to say to me, hey, do you want to use my Eclipse glasses? That's like what you're doing when you're doing follow-up and when you're reaching out to people and you're proactively creating avenues of abundance. And if you want to make more money, that's how you do it. You become the kind of human like little Johnny who proactively seeks out making a difference for somebody else. And if you find yourself stopping at the I've done enough, or I don't need to talk to anyone else, or I don't want to talk to anyone else, then quite frankly, you're not able, like, you don't deserve to make more money. And that might trigger you, but that's honestly how it is. Like, one of the reasons why I do really well is because I don't just create 3 avenues of abundance a day. If I'm in a work day and if I'm in a part of my business where I'm filling a program, I'll create like 30 avenues of abundance that day. I will reach out to like 30 people in various different platforms and contexts every single day, because that's how you give the universe an opportunity to support you and help you manifest your success. And like I said, like when I was applying to jobs in New York, I sent out thousands of emails and applications. When I was applying to grad school, same deal, thousands of emails and applications all over the world. You have to give the universe opportunities to support you. And if you're not seeing the results that you want to see, you got to look, am I creating enough opportunities of abundance? Little Johnny made it his mission, his Dharma, to make sure everybody at that library had an Eclipse experience. So you want to ask yourself, are you making it your Dharma and your mission to make sure everyone around you that you can see, feel, touch, and hear is having their experience? Like, for example, Paola as a love coach, you know, it's her mission to make sure that everyone who she comes in contact with experiences extraordinary love. Right? Like Shamika, who's also on this broadcast, it's her mission to help disabled people understand that they're not limited, that they're limitless. And you know, she shows them how to do it. And it's miraculous. Shamika says, that's why I love working with children. Oh, so amazing, right? Paola says, go Johnny, hashtag Team Johnny the Boy Scout. Exactly. And in this case, it's like, Delilah, thank you for being here with us. Sending you love as well. And so, you know, Johnny, the Boy Scout in this case, is kind of like a metaphor. I mean, he's a real person. Obviously, I met him yesterday. But he also represents something. And so does the lady who said, no, you can't use our glasses. You know, what is she teaching her kids? They represent something. And they represent Dharma, and they represent selfishness, quite honestly. And it's like, what are you wanting to embody? What kind of results are you wanting to create? What kind of world are you wanting to create? And if you're wanting to create it, but you're not creating it right now, the question is, what's stopping you? What's stopping you from being like little Johnny, who went around and talked to countless people that day? I watched him to proactively go up to them and create a connection and conversation with them. Like, what's stopping you from doing that same thing in your world? So I'm going to leave you with that, and I want to inspire you I was certainly inspired. I want to inspire you to be just like little Johnny. I'm sure he's an incredible manifester, because he's giving the universe lots of opportunities of abundance, avenues of abundance. So I want to challenge you to create more avenues of abundance for yourself today. Give the universe more opportunities to help you in your manifesting, and in doing so, becoming a generous, supportive, loving, positive, world-changing human on the planet. And that hopefully is your Dharma if you're here with us. I'm inspired by those who make it their Dharma to make a positive difference for others on the planet. And that's it. I'm sending you so much love, abundance, and manifesting. And I will see you next week, 4 p.m. Pacific, for Dharma Talk Tuesday. Thanks. See you then. Bye.